I wear heels. It's not for a fashion statement. It's because if I see something wrong, we're going to kick them every single time. When Resolution 2334 happened and the U.S. abstained, the entire country felt a kick in the gut. We had just done something that showed the United States at its weakest point ever. Never do we not have the backs of our friends. We don't have a greater friend than Israel.
Ultimately, Israel as a country is of no particular worth to the United States. It doesn't.
You mean strategically?
We have no. They have no resources we need. Their manpower is minimal. Their association with us is a negative for the United States. Now that's a fact.
So when they decided to try and put a Palestinian in one of the highest positions that had ever been given at the UN, we said no, and we had him booted out. So then they tested us again, and a ridiculous report, the Falk report, came out. I don't know who the guy is or what he's about, but he's got serious problems. Goes and compares Israel to an apartheid state.
Netanyahu appoints Ayelet Shaked, who called for the genocide of Palestinians, as justice minister in a new government. You've got to be kidding me.
In Israel,
How old is she?
She's like in her 30s.
Oh, she looks like she's like 17.
So the first thing we do is we call the Secretary General and say, this is absolutely ridiculous. You have to pull it. The Secretary General immediately pulled the report, and then the director has now resigned.
It was expected that Israel and its allies will exercise pressure on the UN Secretary General to distance himself from the report, and that they will ask him to withdraw it. The Secretary General issued his orders to me yesterday morning to withdraw the report. I asked him to review his position, but he insisted. Therefore, I submitted to him my resignation from the UN.
So for anyone that says you can't get anything done at the UN, they need to know there's a new sheriff in town.
Israel's foreign ministry likens the UN report to strongly anti-Semitic Nazi propaganda. Israel's own ambassador Dani Danon is branding the publication as a despicable, blatant lie that constitutes a false smear campaign against the only true democracy in the Middle East.
This holy book, the Bible, contains 3,000 years of history of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. No one can change this history.
Shalom, Eliakim Cohen, Jewish.sidekick.com. This is my front door. And this is the steps leading to my front door. Look down the hill. 28 brand new homes being built in my yeshuv. This is called progress, people. I live in one of the most contested regions in the entire world. I am detested by over 99% of the world's population because God gave me this land a few thousand years ago, and I came back and claimed it.
Every single place, and there's every single land, every little spot, everything is the Jews. Not a single piece for other people, only for us. And we won't give anybody else, just for us. That's what we believe.
Is defining the future of Israel. And their stated purpose is clear. They believe in one state, Greater Israel.
לדעת, את המקום הזה קנה אברהם אבינו בכסף מלא, שטר מכר הראשון מסוגו בעולם, ככה שיש לנו גם זכויות היסטוריות וגם זכויות משפטיות על המקום. צריך לומר כאן בפה ברור, בקול ברור לעולם, בעיקר לאום, כדאי שישמעו קצת וידעו את העובדות. יש לנו זכות מלאה על הארץ ונמשיך לבנות ולהתחזק ביהודה ושומרון.
Because the lie is so big, we don't understand the roots. We are not settlers. It's not the West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria. This is Israel, one of the oldest. You know, we have a connection of thousands of years to Israel. America is 300 years. We are thousands of years with Israel, and the world is calling us occupiers. It's not about land. It's about a very deep spiritual war. And you see that all the world is speaking about Israel. It's a part, and we are there to explain to people that this is not Palestine, this is Israel, and this is Judea and Samaria. And people who read the Bible you cannot have any other result than to understand that this is the promised land, the Holy Land for the Jews to come back to their home and to redeem the land and to fulfill the prophecies.
Because this is part of the land that God gave to Israel. Samson was here, and there's a myth that Jonah was thrown up here by the whale in Khan Yunis. That's a neighboring Arab town. I feel a lot of history was here.
Well, in the Bible, but that's thousands of years ago.
The whole reason why the state of Israel was given to the Jewish people in 1948 was because of our biblical claim. It had nothing to do with how many years anyone had lived anywhere. The only claim that the Jews have on this land that the Israeli people have is the Bible. And if we don't believe the Bible and the board, then we really have nothing to back our claim.
Als sei das jüdische Volk vom lieben Gott eben dazu bestimmt, in einem gewissen Prozentsatz Nutznießer am Körper und an der produktiven Arbeit anderer Völker zu sein. Das Judentum wird sich genauso einer soliden, aufbauenden Tätigkeit anpassen müssen, wie es andere Völker auch tun. Oder es wird früher oder später einer Krieg.
You can't come in here. This is not your house.
This is not your house. We killed Jesus, we're proud of it. Where are you? We're gonna kill you and the Palestinians. You Nazi, you son of a shit bastard. This is my house, this is my land. God gave it to me. And fuck you.
Okay, what about abroad, like the boycott, divestment and sanctions movement? Would you say that's anti-Zionist, or is that legitimate protest of Israeli government policy?
No, it's non-legitimate at all. I think, to boycott Israel because of its policy and because Israel wants to defend itself, it's not only anti-Zionist, in my perspective, it even should be illegal.
Israel's foreign ministry likens the UN report to strongly anti-Semitic Nazi propaganda.
Preaching to the converted, Iran's President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad repeating his condemnation of Israel's right to exist to worshippers at Tehran University. He told the Quds Day rally that the Second World War Holocaust, in which 6 million Jews died at the hands of Nazis, was a predicated lie.
The pretext for the creation of the Zionist regime is a lie and indeed corrupt. A lie based on an unacceptable and fantastical claim.
And I know that the problem, for instance, of the Holocaust is a complete fake, because it's very easy to know, because it's a simple technical arithmetic problem which could be solved by a child in a high school. Now, any chemist knows that you can't gas people with cyanide acid. It's called like that in English, hydrocyanic acid. Hydrocyanic acid, 1,000 or 2,000 people at a time. It's well known, and even the most important American Jewish newspapers, like the American Jewish Yearbook, said that there was 3,003,000 Jews in occupied Europe in 1942. So I don't see how they could have killed 6 million Jews when there was only 3 million.
Ebenfalls ist Herrn Roosevelt das wichtig Diktat eingegangen, dass Palästina zur Zeit ja gar nicht von deutschen Truppen, sondern von Engländern besetzt ist. Und mit brutalsten Gewaltmitteln in seiner Freiheit beschränkt und um seine Unabhängigkeit gebracht wird. Und zugunsten jüdischer Eindringlinge die grausamsten Misshandlungen erdulden. Die in diesem Land lebenden Araber dürften sich gegenüber Roosevelt daher sicherlich nicht über eine deutsche Aggression beschwert haben, aber sie beklagen sich in andauernden Appellen an die Weltöffentlichkeit über die barbarischen Methoden, mit denen England dort eins seiner Freiheit liebendes und nur seine Freiheit verteidigendes Volk niederzuzwingen versucht. Auch dies wäre vielleicht ein Problem, das man nach der Auffassung des Herrn Roosevelt am Konferenztisch würde lösen müssen. Vor einem gerechten Richter also, und nicht durch brachiale Gewalt und militärische Mittel, durch Massenschießungen, durch das Niederbrennen von Körpern, Sprengen von Häusern und so weiter. Denn eines steht doch unzweifelhaft fest, dass England in diesem Fall nicht in Abwehr eines drohenden arabischen Angriffs auf England handelt. Sondern als von niemand gerufener Eindringling in einem England nicht gehörenden fremden Gebiet seine Gewalt aufrichten will. Ich bin auch keineswegs gewillt, hier mitten im Herzen Deutschlands durch die Tüchtigkeit anderer Staatsmänner ein zweites Palästina entstehen zu lassen. Die armen Araber sind wehrlos und vielleicht verlassen. Die Deutschen in der Tschechoslowakei sind weder wehrlos noch sind sie verlassen. Das